Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Heidi channel. So America has decided it doesn't want to be number one anymore. As I guess there's this t-shirt out there that says, "We're number one" for USA, but it takes out the apostrophe. And so it's not "we are number one" anymore, it's "we're number one." Apparently, that seems to be the way we're going. As Victor Davis Hanson points out, the official rememberer for all things conservative, China's contempt for the U.S. They seek global hegemony, and this is how we're helping them. China's defiant provocations are not just verbal. So as you guys know, on Friday a couple weeks ago, the Chinese cleaned our clock in the meeting up in Alaska and embarrassed the heck out of our nation. I don't even think embarrassed is the correct term. I would have to say humiliated would be the more accurate term. For those that like to say, that wouldn't happen if Trump were president, no, the correct way to say it is, it did not happen when Trump was president. You don't have to do a hypothetical. You have 4 years of evidence. No, they were kind of teed off by him, but at the same time, a little worried about him because nobody ever knew what he was going to do. Now, how is China whooping us? Well, if you're familiar with the Soviet term useful idiots, they look like this. Hundreds take to the streets of LA as part of Stop Asian Hate rallies across the US to decry the rise in violence. Useful idiots, ladies and gentlemen. Solidarity within these three hands. Look at this. You have the black hand, the, I'm guessing, brown or red hand, and yellow hand. Now, what's fascinating about that is these are communist logos. This is a communist symbol, the raised fist. And the idea that they're using the color yellow for Asian, I thought we were told that's a bad thing. Haven't we been told that yellow, their skin's not yellow? I mean, here's a person right here from China. Do they look yellow to you? So why are they using not only the communist symbol, but the color yellow in order to show their solidarity? And if you are solidarity, why do you have three different colors? Isn't the whole point of solidarity that you've come together right now over me? Just wondering. So yeah, useful idiots in so many ways. One of the banners that they have up is to stop bashing. It says stop the China bashing. And, oh, speaking of bashing, they're bashing the drum. Okay. Now, to stop the China bashing, this, in modern context, as we all know, means you can't say anything bad about China because that equals Asian hate, according to them. And this is how Asia defeats us. Not Asia, China. This is how China defeats us. Arguably, past tense, defeated us. They're already going to be stronger than us economically shortly. Very shortly, as we in America continue to throw money out the window like it's nobody's business. We just spent $10 trillion last year. $10 trillion we spent in 1 year. We don't even make that much as a nation. We make around $5 to $6 trillion a year. We just spent, so far this year, $1.9 trillion in COVID relief. That's not including the normal business of the country. That's an additional $1.9 trillion. And now Biden says he wants to do another $3 trillion for infrastructure. Well, considering the COVID relief, what, 10% is going to actually go to COVID? What kind? We're forfeiting the nation. We're saying, America, we're number one, without the apostrophe. We're number one. And you've got useful idiots all over LA saying, stop bashing China. Let them take over. What are you complaining about? And hello, this is recorded down in Chinatown, by the way. Stop Asian hate. This division is working so well. So very, very well. You had the Colorado shooting. You had the Atlanta shooting, where they turned a sex crime into a anti-Asian crime. It's like, wow. Well done, media. You know how to lie and cheat, just like the CCP and the Soviet Union before them, and well done indeed. The division. United States of America. No more. I don't know what our country should be called, but it is not the United States of America. Everybody knows that. When Trump was president, the blue states ignored him, created all of these sanctuary cities. Now Biden's up there in the White House basement, and the red states are saying, yeah, buzz off. We're going to take off the mask mandates in Texas 2 weeks ago, and suddenly not everybody's dead. Why isn't everybody dead? They took away the mask mandates. They should all be dead. There should be no Texans left. All the blueies should be celebrating. Yay, they're out. No, it didn't work out that way at all. It's, in fact, there's no change at all. The cases are still going down, etc. Dividing the country and saying Asian hate. No, American hate. Stop. Don't treat anybody bad, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is to be an American. We treat each other good, and if we don't, then you will be punished for not treating a person bad. Who? When we put these adjectives in, then we are not united. We are divided. It's suicide. Willing suicide. Well, I guess all suicide is willing, isn't it? Sorry about that. Tucker Carlson, the U.S. military, has gone full woke, waging war on those who disagree with him. We are purging from our own military. You know, the ones that have to actually fight these guys should we actually want to engage in something. We're purging them of anybody who doesn't match their current political standard, which is on the left. And we were told all during Trump that's what Trump was going to do. He's going to purge the lefties, and it's terrible for our democracy. But then, when they get in power, they actually do it because that is how they think. That's why they said they thought that the righties were going to do it, because they can only express from where they come from, sadly. And so now they are doing it. And how are we are committing suicide willingly. I know it's redundant. I don't care. Mars sounds the alarm on climate fear in schools as parents afraid of not being woke enough. And this goes back to the Bari Weiss story. I don't know if I covered it on this channel or not, but I did in real life a lot. And Bari Weiss wrote this story about the Beverly Hills kids and the Manhattan kids, and how the parents are terrified that the parents are going to lose their jobs by saying that our kids are being taught anti-capitalist propaganda. Remember, propaganda means one-sided argument. It doesn't mean to lie. Propaganda means a one-sided argument. And it also, they were going after, the Manhattan people had the same fears. It's like, if we complain about our school's wokeness, then we as adults will lose our jobs, because they've seen it happen. There was a football coach fired because he spoke up about his daughter's middle school agenda of all of this woke stuff and things like that. And so, yep, we are committing suicide, I'm going to say it again, willingly. Oh, what other stories do we have? Oh, if that's not enough horrible news for what this country used to be in America, two teenagers, 14 years old, beat up a 13-year-old, punched him, knocked him out. This is the little guy right here. Knocked him out. His head hit the wall. He's unconscious, and they keep kicking him. He dies 9 days later. And the good news is, in this country that is not America, stupid videos. Two 14-year-old Southern California boys who beat a fellow student in 2019, causing his death, won't go to jail, but must undergo anger management therapy, a judge ruled. Is that what's supposed to happen in America? You can beat a kid to death and not even go to jail? No, I think in America you'd go to jail. I think in olden days America you'd get strung up for it. Riverside County Superior Court Judge Roger A. Luebs imposed the therapy as probation condition before releasing the teenagers to their parents on Thursday. On September 16, 2019, the teenagers were videotaped. No, they weren't. We haven't had videotape in this country for 20 years. They were video recorded. Why do they say such... Guys, update your language. It wasn't videotaped. Seriously, when was the last time you even seen a VCR in real life? Attacking a 13-year-old, Diego Stoltz, outside the classroom at Landmark Middle School. So he went to middle school. Our schools aren't safe. And what did they do? They let the murderers, who pleaded guilty, by the way, they let the murderers go with no jail time. Last fall, the boys entered the equivalent of a guilty plea in the juvenile court last fall to involuntary manslaughter. How was that involuntary manslaughter? They beat him to death after he was already unconscious, likely to cause great bodily injury. Well, in fact, it was. They spent 40 days in juvie. After their sentencing, the judge said psychological reports described the boys as lacking empathy and said they blamed the victim for the attack. And now they let them walk. They were lacking empathy and blamed Diego for the murder. And they had to do no jail time. They won't go to jail. They have to do anger management when they have no empathy. It's not just my work schedule that's keeping me from making the videos every day, even though it's mostly my work schedule keeping me from doing the videos every day. My work schedule is brutal. And of course, feast or famine. As soon as we leave the lockdown situation, then I will ironically be out of work. So expect way more videos in. But when you're reading the news stories every day like I am, and I pay attention to the teaching ones and the ones about the virus the most, because that's what affects my life the most. And obviously I read all the other stuff too, and you come across stuff like this. Unsympathetic, unempathetic, blame the dude, and they get no jail time. And you've got the schools turning to this poisonous woke. You've got the media doing softball questions, and PBS Washington Week on Friday night actually have the nerve to introduce their show on Friday night saying the president got grilled at his first press conference. Got grilled? He was praised up and down by the media before their questions. Oh, Joe Biden, you're so beloved by everybody around the world for being a decent man that now the people from all over the whole world are coming through the southern border because they love you. It's even on their t-shirts. I'm not sure that counts as a grilling by any definition. Propaganda, one-sided argument, not lies. That was lies, ladies and gentlemen. PBS lies. That ain't propaganda. They lied. He wasn't grilled by any stretch of the imagination. Our schools have gone full woke. We are volunteering to say, China, come take us over. We're already almost all communist on the way. And then you've got Tucker showing us, hey guys, it's the military now. It's not just the schools. It's not just the courts. It's the military too. And now you have the civilians out there protesting, saying stop Asian hate instead of stop hate, instead of saying stop violence, instead of saying, hey, why don't we actually enforce these laws? Oh, that's right, because we defunded all the police. Oh, yeah, that was genius of us. And, oh, it was so funny. There's a headline the other day that LA is like, despite the defund the police, the backlash is they're going to now increase their budget by $36 million. Dude, they cut it by 150. They're bringing back 36. That's hardly refunding them. So, yeah. So the other reason I don't do the stories as much, and I've been doing the videos, is because who wants to do this? Who wants to revel in the fact that our country is committing suicide and we are bleeding out and hemorrhaging, and half the voters, if not more, are listening to PBS and believing the lies, and they don't even watch the video of Biden doing the press conference going, anyway, reading off the cards, etc. On Saturday Night Live last night, they did a sketch where they made fun of Biden reading off the cards, followed by 9 jokes, ha ha ha, that weren't funny, about Trump doing it. It's like Trump never did it. It's kind of funny that you made fun of Biden because he did do it, but then you add all these Trump ones. I was like, what? First of all, why are you talking about Trump? He's not president anymore. Second of all, he didn't do it. You're lying to make the first guy. So we're going to make fun of Biden by him reading off of it, and then we're going to actually turn around and make him look good by doing 7 to 8 or 9 jokes about Trump doing it when Trump didn't do it. So they poke the one guy's eye, but then they go over and pound the other dude's face with their fist so that the guy with the poked eye is like, well, it's not so bad, man. Your eye's not even red. It's barely watering. That guy over there, his face is all mangled. So that's the way the propaganda works. It's all one-sided. And we are suffering. Final thing before I go, because, again, I don't know if I want to do another one of these today, because it's, yeah. We're $30 trillion in debt. The country makes about $5 or $6 trillion a year. It would take 6 full years of taking every single thing we earn to pay off the debt. And I ask you this, listener, When was the last time you even heard the word deficit mentioned from a politician? Or anyone? The word deficit has been erased from our vocabulary. Deficit always was a joke anyways, because deficit is what you overspent this year. And whatever you overspent this year, well, that became the debt. And so they used to say, up until around 2009 or 10, which, hello, that's 11 years ago, that we need to control the deficit. Never the debt, always the deficit. So that is the equivalent of saying, you need to stop overspending $100 each month. Each month you're overspending $100. You're spending what you made, and then you're going over $100. That's the deficit. So we want you to overspend only $80. That was what they would propose, is like a 20% cut, if even that much. So, okay, so each month out of the 12 months of the year, instead of overspending $100 each month, no, we wanted to kick it down to $80 a month. But you're still overspending $80 a month for the whole year. At what point do you pay off the debt? And that's why they don't mention the deficit anymore, because it's a $30 trillion debt. It can't be paid off. And nobody even mentions deficit, and we just spent 1.9 additional trillion on COVID relief that isn't for COVID. And we're spending, if he gets his way, and if he gets rid of the filibuster, $3 trillion more dollars for that. And again, none of this is including the normal stuff to get the America, through its normal daily. So the whole point of taxes is a joke now. We're not paying taxes to fund any of this, because we'd have to pay every single thing we earn as an entire nation to pay off the debt. And it would take us 5 to 6 years to do that, assuming that they stop spending right now, which they're not going to stop spending right now. So, tell me if this sounds familiar. We're committing suicide voluntarily. And this is why I don't like making the videos anymore, because what am I supposed to do? Tim Pool, he's always like complaining about the bias in the media. And it's like, am I supposed to just come on here and keep saying that the media is biased every day? It's like, well, yeah, kind of. And am I supposed to keep coming on my channel every day and showing how we are forfeiting everything that this nation stood for? And we're way past that now. We're way past what the nation stood for. We are now what's left of the nation before these folks right here say, we own you now. Keep in mind, England, the UK, did not invade India to take it over. They bought them one by one. They bought all these businesses, and one day the Indians woke up and said, oh, good God, I think there's nothing left that isn't English. And on that day, Queen Victoria said, I am now going to be the Royal Empress of all of India. Through purchases, not bullets. Through purchases. Take a look at where your computer was made, at where your phone was made, at where everything in your house was made. One day you wake up and you discover China owns us, just like India was owned by the UK. And then one day Victoria goes, oh, I am amused. I have taken over India. And it was as easy as buying a cup of tea. I know, really awful impersonation. Well, guess what, guys? Ni hao ma. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the future, either for a review or all the horrible stuff of what's left of our country, assuming it's still our country.